Welcome to today's lecture. So did you study yesterday's part, the difference between solids, liquids and gases, and elements, compounds and mixtures? Today we may move on to the next part on page number 41. Okay, on page number 41, the types of element. There is an experiment first. Before going into the experiment, I will tell you how they are classified according to this chart. Okay, I have drawn a chart showing the different types of matter. Matter is of different types: element, compound and mixtures. Elements are classified into three: metal, non-metal and metalloid. Earlier it was classified into only metals and non-metals, but now there is one more term, that is metalloid. What is a metalloid? Metalloid is a substance which shows the properties of both metals and non-metals. So elements can be classified into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay. Next is compounds. Compounds are classified into organic, inorganic and complex compounds. Organic means basically which have carbon. When they are burnt, they leave a black substance inside. Okay, beside. Okay, when they are burnt, they leave a black residue behind. They are called as organic substances. Why? Because they contain carbon. Next is inorganic. Inorganic substances leave a residue which is not black generally, okay, and there is a reaction taking place and there is a compound formed, so it is inorganic compound. Basically the difference we can tell is carbon compounds are organic compounds and compounds which do not have carbon are inorganic compounds. This is just a simple definition, but it is not exactly like that. Okay, now and the last one is complex compounds. Okay, for the time being, for this experiment, you may remember that the compounds which contain carbon are organic, the compounds which do not contain carbon are inorganic, and the complex compounds are when one atom is having several atoms, different types of atoms around, then it is said to be a complex compound. For example, in chlorophyll, there is a one magnesium atom surrounded by different types of compounds. Hemoglobin, there is one iron and other atoms around. Cyanocobalamin, there is cobalt. Okay, and mixtures are of two types: homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous, it is said to be a solution. A solution is made up of solute and solvent. Heterogeneous, it is divided into two: suspension and colloids. Okay, so this is the basic classification, how substances, how the types of matter are classified. Okay, so now we will see on page number 42 the first table. Object is iron nail. You have to fill up the boxes. Is the surface shining? Yes. Does the shape flatten if you hammer it? Yes, it flattens. Copper wire shining? Yes. Does its shape flatten? Flattens. Yes. Aluminium wire shining? Yes. Does the shape flatten? Yes. Flattens. Coal piece, coal. Is the surface shining? No. Does the shape flatten? No, it breaks. Okay, it breaks. So you may fill in the box. Towards the left, yes, yes, yes. The last one is no. Towards the right, flattens, flattens, flattens. The last one is breaks. If you are not getting, you may refer to the notes. I have given it in the notes. So there is another box, elements having a shiny surface. It is Fe, Cu and Al, that is iron, copper and aluminium. Elements that flatten on hammering, it is iron, copper, aluminium. Elements with a dull surface, it is carbon. Elements that break on hammering, it is carbon. Sorry, that is coal. Okay, coal. Coal is made up of carbon. So below that you may see the physical properties like luster, that is shine. Malleability. Malleability is the ability to form wires, okay, and malleability is the ability to form sheets, and ductility is the ability to form wires. These are the properties of metals. According to that, elements are classified. In early times, elements were classified into metals and non-metals, and afterwards the metalloid was discovered. Okay, so you may fill in the boxes. See the experiment on page number 42 under types of compounds. Okay, types of compounds. They have given some compounds and you are burning it. They have given a diagram. You may see figure 6.4. They have taken an evaporating dish. First you have to put camphor in it. You have to heat it. It will burn. Okay, and it will get converted into gas. So will there be any residue left? Residue means something which is left back. Will there be anything left? Nothing will be left back if you burn camphor. Okay, so the color is blank because there is no residue left. If you burn limestone, there will be a residue, white colored residue, which is left back in the evaporating dish. If you burn washing soda, okay, it is sodium carbonate. If you burn it, there will be a white colored residue left back in the evaporating dish. Blue vitriol is copper sulfate. It is an inorganic compound. If you burn it, there will be a white colored residue left in the evaporating dish. If you burn sugar, there will be a black colored residue. If you burn glucose, there will be a black colored residue. If you burn urea, there will be a black colored residue left in the evaporating dish. From this, they have used this criteria for classification of compounds into organic and inorganic compounds. Based on that, they have defined organic and inorganic compounds. You may see towards the last paragraph. In case their combustion is not complete, black colored carbon remain beside the residue. These compounds are called organic compounds or carbon compounds. For example, materials like carbohydrates, proteins, hydrocarbons, petrol, cooking gas are made of organic compounds. You may underline that. It could be asked as an odd man out question. The camphor, sugar, glucose and urea used in the above activity are organic compounds. Next, on the other hand, the compounds that decompose on strong heating to leave behind a residue are called as inorganic compounds. Common salt, soda, rust, blue vitriol, that is copper sulfate, limestone, that is calcium carbonate, are inorganic compounds. So basically there are two types of compounds, organic and inorganic. One more is there. In addition, there is one more type of compound, namely complex compounds. The molecule of compounds have a complex structure formed by many atoms, and in the center of this structure, metal atoms are also included. There is one atom in the center and there are different types of atoms around. So that this type of compounds are called as complex compounds. Example they have given. Those examples are very, very important. Okay. Chlorophyll, that contains magnesium, hemoglobin, that contain iron, and cyanocobalamin, that is vitamin B12, that contain cobalt, are some examples of complex compounds. Okay, so various atoms in the molecules of compounds are joined by chemical bonds. So there is bond between hydrogen and oxygen, there is bond between carbon and oxygen. Okay, there is bond between, in limestone it is calcium carbonate, so it is CaCO3. So there is bond between calcium, carbon and oxygen. Okay, so this is about compounds. Now we may move on to the next topic, that is mixtures. When I had drawn the chart, I had shown there are two types of mixtures, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous means which are uniform throughout. Uniform means, for example, if you add salt into water, you cannot see salt in it. Okay, the salt dissolves in it and it forms a single phase, a single type of material, okay, single type of substance, a single liquid, that is said to be a single phase. If we can see two different types, then it is said to be two phase. If it is only one type, then it is a single phase. Okay, so when you dissolve salt and water, it forms a single phase. Such materials which can dissolve, such substances which can dissolve, it is said to be a homogeneous mixture. In a homogeneous mixture, the salt which we are adding, for example, here I have taken salt and water, I am adding salt to water. Can you separate salt from water? Yes. If you evaporate that salt water, you can get the salt back, isn't it? So it is a mixture. Whereas in the case of a compound, carbon dioxide, if you heat carbon dioxide, okay, or if you filter carbon dioxide, you cannot separate carbon and oxygen. So they react together to form a new substance. You cannot separate them like that, but you have to carry on a reaction. Here you have to just do physical activities and you can separate the mixtures, isn't it? So in case of salt water, it is a single phase and it can be separated, and the complete structure is uniform throughout. So it is said to be a homogeneous mixture. So in a homogeneous mixture, it is a uniform mixture. That means at each and every point, the concentration of solute and solvent is the same. Now what do you mean by a solute? A solute is a substance which we add, and solvent is the substance into which we add. For example, in example salt and water, salt is the solute and water is the solvent. Salt is the solute and water is the solvent. Okay. In case of sugar and water, sugar is the solute and water is the solvent. So here they have given some experiments. You have to take these materials, sand and water, blue vitriol and water, and blue vitriol and sand. Okay. You have to put it into water. Sand and water. Will sand dissolve in water? No, sand don't dissolve in water. How many phases you can see? You can see two different parts. So there are two different phases. Type of mixture, it is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay. Blue vitriol and water. Blue vitriol means copper sulfate. If you mix in water, it will form a very nice blue colored solution. Okay. So it will dissolve and the number of phases 1. You cannot see copper sulfate in it. It forms a solution. Type of mixture is homogeneous. Blue vitriol and sand. They are non-uniform mixture. Both of them are solids. They don't mix. They can just remain together. Okay, they don't react with each other. So you can see two different phases. So it is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, hope you have understood what do you mean by homogeneous and heterogeneous. We will see on page number 43, the paragraph below that box. The part of matter having uniform composition is called phase. Write the third column of the table, the number of phases seen in each of the beakers after stirring. When all the components of a mixture form one phase, it is called a homogeneous mixture. When the components of the mixture are distributed into two or more phases, it is called a heterogeneous mixture. You may underline, they are the definitions of homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Okay, now the next. So this is the homework for today. Complete the tables. Next question, what are the different types of compounds? Give examples. What are the different types? Organic, inorganic and complex compounds. You have to write the examples of each. What is meant by homogeneous mixture and what is meant by heterogeneous mixture. You may read the chapter very thoroughly, fill in the boxes, understand the concept of solid, liquid, gas and elements, compounds and mixtures. Okay, I will be sending you revision questions. You may complete your notebooks. Okay, thank you.